Hey, folks, welcome to InTheMoneyStocks.com's intraday analysis video, brought to you by the creators of proprietary price, pattern, and time methodology. Learn the PPT strategies and profit for life. My name is Gareth Soloway, Chief Market Strategist here at InTheMoneyStocks.com. All right, folks, let's get started on this Monday, November 18th, 2013. It's almost 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Markets have just rolled over a little bit, but bottom line is the markets are still in a very flat pattern. You can see this morning we opened near the highs of the day, then had a little bit of a sell-off, and since the high of the day and this low of the day at 10 o'clock, we've basically stayed in that exact range. In fact, we're testing the lower end of it right now. First time we closed below the 50 MA intraday, but bottom line is the volume is dead today. Mondays generally are very quiet in the markets, and we're seeing that same occurrence today. Now, interestingly enough, again, we are seeing the markets with the inability to inch higher in extremely light volume, which continues to tell me we're relatively near that level where you will start to see a pullback. But by no means is today's type of price action positive or negative. All right, it just is what it is, and the markets are going sideways. Low end right now. Now, if we were to break down below the low of this morning, maybe heading down here, I think that would be viewed as a little bit more negative because what it tells us is we put in a lower low. So if you look at the previous days, and I think this is very important, guys, for those of you that are newer to reading charts, notice how every low, every pullback we've had has been a higher pullback, right? All right. Even today's low was higher than Friday's low. So if we could actually break below the low here, especially if we closed below it, I do think at that stage you could start to say, okay, well now maybe that's just slightly negative. It wouldn't be tremendously negative, but slightly negative. Now, many of you have asked me, why do you think the markets are going to possibly have a pullback in the short term over the next couple weeks? And the answers I'll give right now, I'll kind of try to clarify that. First of all, there's something called the max move signal, which basically what I did to find this is go back in and look at various breakouts on charts above upsloping trend lines. And if you go to the daily chart, you'll see what I mean. So if you look at this trend line scanning all the way back to 2009, or 2010, excuse me. See this high pivot here all the way up. So basically, notice how we hammered on this line here, here, and here, and then today, or over the last month or two, I should say over the last couple weeks, we finally pushed through that level. All right. So the question is, well, how do you know that we're not going to go higher? And the answer is this. I went back to upsloping trend lines and I ran a study and I looked at upsloping trend lines that were at all-time highs or 52-week highs on stocks, and I looked for how long or what was the max move above that trend line, upsloping trend line, and it actually came out to be about 2 to 3% before, on average, stocks would pull back or markets would pull back. So interestingly enough, if you take the previous high here, all right, this trend line right here, all right, really right around this upsloping trend line, and you do a move up of about 2 to 3%, you come to this area here or just a little bit higher, maybe as high as 182, but just in that range. I hope that gives you a little clarity on that question. The other thing I think is worthy of pointing out is to take a look at the weekly chart. This is one of the most epic trend lines that you'll ever see on a chart. All right, take the low from 2009, connect it to these lows right here, connect it to this high, and then this year, the first high we made. That trend line is an epic trend line. And sure enough, look at what the markets are kissing as we speak. So based off of last week's push up, we're basically right into that level. So these types of things, again, what essentially it does is it takes away the emotion. And that's the biggest thing. Traders and investors who get caught up in emotion, they always make the wrong decisions. All right, they go long when they should be going short. They go short when they should be going long. All right, but when you look at the charts and you just factor in the charts themselves, it truly gives you a pinpoint accuracy to be able to isolate down what to find in the charts and how to read them accurately. And I think that's an amazing little thing here. I absolutely think that's awesome to utilize charts to negate emotion. All right, really important at that. All right. A couple other things, if we go back to the intraday, you can see the spiders getting a little bit of a bounce off the early morning low, so that's that support short term, and markets again are still staying in a tight range. Just to do a quick check on the indices here, S&P is down 1.5 points, Dow is up 40 points on the back of Boeing today, and a couple other old school stocks that are rallying because of it. And then the Nasdaq's actually taking a little bit of a hit, down 3/10%, or 13.5 points. So again, S&P slightly negative, Dow's up about 0.25%, and the Nasdaq is down 1/3%. Couple stocks in motion that I think warrant mentioning. We have Tesla taking a beating today, guys. Beautiful fall on Tesla. I actually have a key level down in this range. I want to show you this. Now, ultimately, it's going to go to the 200. But if you see this little gap fill right here? All right, take a trend line and just run it right there. So you're really into a little bit of intraday support right in this midst. And if it does eventually push through there over the next couple days, I do think you go a little bit to the downside. But I've scalped Tesla off of this level once already, and I just bought a little bit more down here after I took profits on that last one. My entry 122.85, and I'm already up about 35 cents here as it's trading back above 123 here in the short term. So really good scalping level there for intraday traders. On the swing trade basis, I actually think this has more downside, and this 200 is where you're going to look to swing it. All right, so if we take this pivot low and put it right there, look at that, how it mirrors the 200 MA. That's awesome. Right there, that's everything you could dream about, how it mirrors that 200 MA. When you get a pivot low that mirrors the 200 MA, lock and load, because that should be a good swing trade worthy of about 10 to 20 point bounce on Tesla. From that level, that'll be about a 5, 10, 15% bounce on Tesla as well, which is sizable. All right, couple other stocks making waves today. Facebook. Facebook again is falling out of bed, down over $2.50. Just absolutely getting annihilated today. This is a big move for a company this size. We've seen it lately happening, but I'll show you your levels. All right, this is number one. So you're actually not far away from this as a potential scalp level, and that's at 46.20. And number two is very obvious. It's right down here at the 45, 45, 80, 85 level. All right, so those are your two levels on those stocks, and again, monitor them very, very closely, as they should be good scalps. Both of them should be good scalps. Obviously, the lower one would be more powerful. You'd get a bigger bounce, but again, does it hit that lower one today? I don't know about that. All right, and again, Facebook's coming into this level here. I'm actually going to scalp it myself if we puncture it down here, so hang on one second. Give me a little quick second or two to gather my charts here and get my order ready to rock and roll. All right, we're coming into it right now. Let's see if we come down and give me an entry on this. All right. So again, coming down 46.25, you're basically kissing at 46.24, 23. Right in this range, guys. Beautiful little range right here. I'm looking for a Pierce of 46.20. We'll see if I get filled or not. While we're waiting, we'll go on to a couple other things here. There are certain stocks that are leading today, and there are other stocks that are lagging. Here's your Pierce, guys, 46.18. There it is. All right, I grabbed a little bit at 46.18. I repeat, I grabbed a little bit at 46.18 on Facebook. All right, so let's see if we can't. We're already getting a bounce. There we go. There we go. Beautiful. All right, so again, I don't mean to get distracted on this video, but when there's money to be made, there's money to be made, so it's kind of cool like that. We're still seeing Tesla hold that level, get a little bit of a bounce there. 26, 27, almost up 10 cents already on the trade. It's coming back down a little bit. All right, I'll watch this on a different screen. I want to give you guys more analysis. I don't want to waste your time here as you're just watching. There we go, 46.30. I'm going to take 15 cents off at 46.33, I think. So if we get to 46.33, that'll be where I grab it off the table. 29. And again, I apologize for getting distracted here, but when there's money to be made in a great trade setup, who am I to say no to it, right? Here we go, 32. Oop, missed it by a little bit. Didn't hit 33, just hit 32. And this is what the key is. You got to wait. Now, I could take a couple pennies less off the table, but what the heck, You might as well give it a chance to actually bounce there, as I think it will. And look at that level. I mean, if you're ever kind of watching these videos for the first time, right, and you're kind of unsure and you're saying, oh, I don't know if I really think that In-N-Money Stocks has something special. Well, I mean, look at this level right here on Facebook. Here we go, guys. And I'm out. I'm out. Oh, love it. But, I mean, look at that. And I probably could have waited around and had more anyways. But, again, just doing something like 3,000 shares, $450. Think about that. Just in the span of this portion of the video, I just increased my net worth by $450. Just that easily. Really cool stuff, honestly. Really, really cool stuff. All right, now I can go on to other things since I'm out of that trade now, so that's nice. Couple other things to go over here, guys. Let me just go over a couple other charts. Scanning through the financials are particularly strong today. I've noticed that the financials, JPM's rolling over a little bit and kind of helped the market roll over there. But bottom line is JPM up 81 cents when the markets are flat to negative. Very strong. Goldman Sachs is up $1.85. That's actually had a nice rollover here though. Look at that rollover on Goldman Sachs. Man, we are close to a little bit of a pullback in this market. All right, just based on what I'm seeing here, it's a no-brainer that we're close to this. And again, I'm going to continue to accumulate positions accordingly based off of that, just so we can make good money when it does occur. All right, but again, Goldman Sachs, that's a big-time rollover. I see good support on Goldman right here. If you could dip down in the next candle right to here, I actually like this as a day trade. Okay? So again, just a heads up on that, folks. And I'm just continuing to watch Tesla out of the corner of my eye since I did have that position. I still do hold it. Amazon's down $1.30 on the day. Baidu and Google are having good days, but they've come well off their highs. Take a look at Google today. Look at this rollover on Google. Man, oh man, there's some stocks getting beaten down here late in the day. I mean, there's no volume in the market, but definitely a nice little beatdown on some stocks like Goldman and Google. Wow, interesting. Very interesting. Things starting to look a little bit more intriguing in this market, even though it's dead on a Monday afternoon. All right, take a look at the spider starting to break down. And all of a sudden, guys, we have a lower low in place here. Lower low in place. That's big. All right, now, obviously, we want to see it close below this low. That's going to be a key. But really fascinating now to see this. Again, a lower low, very important for the overall market. Very important. All right, guys, I got to get back to trading. I know I'd love to give you more, but there's just too much going on here as the markets are inching down a little bit, and I want to make sure I focus in on the charts. So just a heads up, just to look at Boeing. Boeing had some good news, but that stock actually is putting in a major top on the daily chart, so heads up on that. Beautiful top on the daily. I am short this out of the money a little bit, but the beauty of this is this is a dramatic top, and you know the beauty of what we do. We have proprietary signals, and I use confirmation stops, and obviously never confirmed above that level. So that's the beautiful thing about this on the Boeing side. This should continue to move down now. This is a major top on heavy volume, reversal from a gap up, and stock's almost at the lows of the day. Wouldn't be a topping tail because it doesn't fit the criteria, but the reversal signal is just as powerful. Reminds me of Netflix, just not quite as powerful right here. I mean, this type of signal was such a powerful signal on Netflix. This is a long bearish pattern in Netflix too. All right, so just keep an eye on that. Looks very, very good. Good rollover on Chipotle today. A lot of good rollovers. Again, as I said earlier, guys, something's going on here. Very rare for the light volume to do this, but something is going on here in the markets, and we should all be paying attention. Have a great afternoon, great evening. Come join us here at InTheMoneyStocks.com. Take your 7-day free trial and start profiting with the pros. Take care.